Email marketing also is something that seems to kind of change or have new updates pretty regularly, but you know, it's important to keep an eye on those because email continues to deliver high ROI. Today, smarter design, smarter automation, and smarter copy win in the inbox. So let's kind of explore these three trends that are shaping how successful marketers are using email. Okay, so email trend number one, design for deliverability. So smart design equals more eyes on your email. So, you know, a beautiful email, you could probably spend tons of time putting it together, but it does not matter if nobody sees it. So design now has to be optimized for both engagement and deliverability. So some tips to kind of keep in mind that will not only help your emails be beautiful looking, but also ensure they make it to the inbox is use fewer images and more live text. So you don't want to have a ton of images in your email because that could make it render slowly or it could make it take a long time to get to the inbox. And make your CTA buttons and hierarchy mobile friendly. A lot of people are, you know, viewing their emails on their mobile devices. So if your email doesn't render correctly on a mobile device, nobody's going to read it. And, you know, it's going to affect your deliverability score. And then, you know, another one is avoid spammy visuals like deceptive GIFs, however you want to say it, or overused emojis. You know, sometimes, I don't know if you guys have received a lot of spam emails, but I have. And they tend to include those kind of images. And it just looks a little fishy sometimes if there's too many. And it also kind of degrades the quality. So we don't recommend doing a ton of that. While some of it can be good for engagement, don't go overboard. And then clean, accessible, and responsive is the name of the game. So you want a clean design with like enough, you know, white space included in your email. You want to make sure it's accessible and responsive. So, you know, keep in mind design tips that, you know, can make your emails readable to all audiences. And, you know, responsive, like we said, you want this to render in various mobile devices so that people, wherever they're reading their email, they can access and read it appropriately. Okay, so the next email trend, conversational copy converts. Okay, so email copy is shifting from broadcast style to friendly one-on-one tones. You may think this might seem unprofessional, but people don't like when things feel very stiff and you know, unnatural. They like being talked to like a human being. So, you know, what's working in this regard is personalization. So, you know, beyond hi and then using someone's first name, we always recommend, you know, keeping track of your users or your customers' previous purchase patterns so you can, you know, send them information or products that might be of interest to them based on that. That's some really smart personalization tactics. So yeah, so just, you know, kind of taking that extra step when it comes to personalization so you can make them feel like you really know their needs. And then email intros that sound like real people are talking. So natural, not, you know, salesy or using a lot of jargon. And yeah, like fewer buzzwords, more clarity. So just a reminder, not everybody understands the words of your industry, the, you know, the words you use on a day-to-day basis, maybe behind the scenes. So you don't want to necessarily use that same language when speaking to your customers. You want to make sure and kind of not dumb it down, because I hate that phrase, but, you know, make it easy for them to understand, because the reality is most people don't know a ton about, you know, other industries, back end things like that. So you really just want to make sure you're making things accessible for people and so that they can easily understand. And, you know, just talk to your reader like a person, not a target audience. Make them feel like you know them. Okay, email trend number 3, smarter sending with AI and automation. So send like a pro, even if you're a team of one. Okay, so one of the most game-changing shifts in marketing is AI and automation. These tools aren't just buzzwords, they're powerful ways to work smarter and create better experiences for your audience. So here's how they help you send smarter. So there's smarter timing. AI can analyze when individual contacts are most likely to open emails and automatically schedule messages at the most optimal times. So instead of blasting a message at 9 a.m. for everyone you reach each subscriber when they're actually most engaged. That's something you wouldn't necessarily understand without the help of automation and without the help of, AI that can kind of pull that information for you. And then there's smarter content. So AI content creation tools like ChatGPT, you can get content suggestions that help craft higher performing emails based on your goals, audience behavior, and even current trends. So this is a really great tactic for overcoming creative blocks and boosting open rates. Also, with benchmark emails automation tools, you can set up entire sequences like welcome series, or re-engagement flows, milestone celebrations, and let them run while focusing on strategy. So you don't have to kind of be a professional writer to put together content that is really good for in your emails. When you use a tool like ChatGPT, you can kind of give them prompts that will help them output content that, is what you need and what will help your emails perform really well. So, make sure that when you're using these tools, you're getting very specific with what you're looking for. So, if you do have a specific goal in mind, make sure you let that tool know. It's also pretty important to share audience credentials with these tools, let them know who your audience is, what kind of behavior you're seeing them do in regards to your email. And even if there's, current trends in the email space that you want to utilize that you're not really sure how, but you want ChatGPT to kind of help you with that, make sure you let it know. These tools are wonderful as long as you give them what they need to perform for you. And then there's smarter segmentation. So automation allows you to trigger emails based on specific behaviors, like when someone signs up, clicks a link, or hasn't engaged in a while. So, just know you're not just sending to a list, you're responding to individual actions in real time. So segmentation is when you take your list and you divide it into portions based on certain behaviors or other criteria. So automation allows you to not only tap into that criteria, but then to put together and send emails that align with that criteria. Wow, cannot say that word today. And this is just another element of personalization. So personalization and segmentation really do go hand in hand. And, both happen to be elements of email marketing that are really capable of implementing with automation and AI.